What's going on, everybody? And thanks for tuning back in to another episode of Florida Prison Talk. Got a real good one for y'all today. You already know, got my man, Vic Slang. Hope. Go ahead and introduce yourself, bro, for the ones that might not know.
You know what I mean? Come on, you're doing a good job, man. You're doing a good job.
Got my man, Vic Slang Hope. He's on YouTube. Y'all know he got a page. Got a lot of subscribers. Even gave me a shout out early on in my YouTube career. Really appreciate that. For this one right here, we're going to talk to Vic briefly about his time, Rikers Island and Upstate, and being Crip. Those three things we're going to get into. And without no further ado, man, I'm going to get right into it. So what crime led you to go to Rikers Island, man?
So, yeah, so I had like a shooting. I had a attempt murder. I shot somebody. And that's kind of like, so when I went to the precinct at first, they was hitting me with at first it was just, you know, some people say you can't attempt to felony murder. So they say like attempt murder usually is assault on the first. So, okay. So at first the police, they was just questioning me and they was just like, yo, what's going on? What's happening? And I was just like, they asked me if I knew. They had a picture of the victim. And I was just like, yeah, I know him. You know, I see him around. And they was asking me how I know him. And I was like, well, they asked me when's the last time I seen him. And then they told me, well, this person is in the hospital. And somebody said it was him. But they said somebody said you shot him in the face. So I was just like, nah, that's crazy. Like, I ain't do that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so I was just talking to them, and then they was just like, oh, did they call you this? Did you hang out here? You know, whatever. So we had like a little conversation. They asked me how I knew him. And I said, I knew him from around the way. I used to just see him, you know. So then after that, they was like, you know what? Because you lied to us, we're going to hit your ass with assault, reckless endangerment, and I forgot criminal possession of a weapon, even though there was no firearm that was recovered. But then when I got to the bookends, the DA and whatever, the judge, whoever hit you with charges, then I got hit with like 9 other charges. So I got hit with attempt murder and the second. I got 2 counts of assault on the first, 2 counts of second. But anyway, yeah, relatively it was a shooting that happened that transpired that led me to go to prison.
Okay, was that like a gang-related shooting?
Definitely.
Was it internal gang or was it opposite gang?
Yeah, it was definitely some internal like Crip on Crip stuff. Okay. You know, it was a situation where it was like, you know, it was information that was given to me that this individual was cooperating with the police and stuff like that. So, you know how that go, codes of the street. Like, and mind you, I used to be around this individual, so it's like I never expected that from him because, you know, he was putting on, like he was a gangster. And so when I heard of that, I was just kind of like dumbfounded. I was just kind of like, what? So when that happened, I kind of like didn't know how to feel. But, you know, at the end of the day, the code is the code. Like, we could be best friends, right? But if we signed up for certain things, it's like I have to enforce the law. Like, I have to enforce the code, right? And so,
right.
So it was like some Crip on Crip stuff. And that shit just led to like some whole bigger Crip on Crip beef.
Okay, so I'm not going to get into that too deep. But let me ask you this. So when you did that to that dude, was that something you wanted to do, or did your big homie tell you to go and handle that? Or did you take it upon yourself?
So the way that it happened, it was like, there was a division. So in my set, there was the older dudes and the younger dudes. And, you know, I was the youngest member at the time when I turned Crip under this branch, right? And so when I turned Crip under them, I was the youngest. So I didn't really hang out with them because everybody was way older than me. So what I did was, I worked on like my own, creating like my own turf, taking over like my own block. And that's really what I worked on. And then when I did that, there was a few people that helped me along the way that wasn't insane. They wasn't in my set. They was part of different sets. And then what we did was we came together. It was like 4 of us. And then as we came together, this is the people I used to chill with. So right. As they seen us standing up to like Bloods and like, you know, the people that we was the rivals, they became more courageous and they wanted to be down with part of this too. You know, it's like, from where I'm from, it was like a lot of people might have had problems with the Bloods, but they didn't want to confront them because they was the bigger force. So, you know, when you see a group of people standing up to them and you already don't like them, you kind of like can ride out with them. Now you got some other people that don't like them too, and you know y'all could work together. So that's basically what happened. I was hanging out with people my age that were Crip. They wasn't my same set, but those people ended up turning my set. They ended up switching their set because they was always around me. So when that happened, it's like, you know, that's really what I did. So that was already a divide, right? Like it wasn't a divide because we was all together, but I was hanging out with the younger ones. I was hanging out with people my age. I didn't hang out with the older people. So what happened was when this beef broke out, that's really like the people that I was close to, even after like the years went by, the people that I remained close to was the people that I was with every day, which was the younger people. So a lot of the older people was like, who the hell is this dude? Like they was just like, so at the end of so it wasn't like no big homie told me, it was just like this older dude in the set started hanging out with us. And this older dude, he was like at least 6 to 8 years older than us. So this older dude started hanging out with us, started getting on our wave. And this older dude told on one of the young boys. So I just felt like ain't nobody, if anything, a lot of the older dudes didn't like what I did because they felt like nobody gave me protocol, nobody gave me the go ahead. But my whole thing, yo, homie, like we hang around each other. Like a lot of y'all don't know what's going on here. Like, you know what I'm saying? We got caught up together. Like it was a gun we went to get. I let him hold it. He got locked up with the gun. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, and I tell a story about it. So the whole thing is like, this don't got nothing to do. It does, but it don't, because y'all don't even know what's going on. And at the end of the day, what they really did was they believed the older dude over us because they grew up with him and they had like history with him. So what that led to was we gonna believe him over you. We don't care what you're saying. So like when that thing came up, it's like I had to make a decision, right? It wasn't like I'm not gonna go to your best friends and your buddy. And then his brother was also a big homie in the set. You know what I'm saying? So it's like it's you know, it's that favoritism, which is kind of like the thing that happened later on. So I just felt like I needed to do it because it's the code, but I also felt like I needed to do it because this individual was sending threats. He was trying to silence me. So you know, and he was about that life. So it's like when the shit transpired a certain way, nobody told me to go do it. I just felt like this was something that needed to be done at the time.
Got you. Okay, got you. So how old was you when you turned Crip?
I was like 16, 17, 16.
And how do your parents feel about you turning Crip?
Yo, nobody, not to lie, man, nobody knew I was Crip. Like in my family, well, maybe my cousins, but like my mother, she never knew I was gangbanging. My aunts, like nobody really knew I was gangbanging. Nobody knew. Like, so when people first heard that I went to when people first heard that I went to prison, everybody was like, prison. And then when they heard why I went to prison, everybody was just like, what? And then when they heard like why I went to prison, everybody was like, she shot somebody. Like everybody was just dumbfounded. And I think like that's how you should keep it. Like nobody should be knowing what you be doing, especially not like your mom. And so nobody really knew. My mother didn't know till like I want to say my mother didn't really know until I came home. But I felt like at some point it got a little dangerous. Dudes started calling my house and sending threats. Like right after like the shooting happened, they was like, oh, it's not safe for you and your mom. They was this is the older dudes. The older dudes is calling me like, yo, it's not safe for you and your moms. You know, like, and I kind of appreciate that because I felt like they was giving me a heads up. Like, you don't tell nobody it's not safe for you, you know, like, and it's like, yo, bro, like you like what you think I'm supposed to do now? Like, you know, I'm gonna make preparations. But anyway, I felt like I had to tell my mom. I didn't want to tell her, but in that moment I had to tell my mom, like, look, I shot somebody, like, you know, we gotta go. Cause I was telling her like we gotta leave. And she was just like, why we gotta leave? Like, you know, why you want to move? And I was like, I didn't want to tell her. I was like, oh, you know, a lot of people know where I live. And she was just like, okay. A lot of people been know where you live. She didn't get the severity of the situation. So I had to tell her. Like, I was like, look, I shot somebody and they sending threats. And I was like, we gotta go. Like, so she was just like, damn. So that's when I feel like I told her, but I didn't really register because it was just like so much shit going on. But I felt like right before I got locked up, I let her know I shot somebody. I don't know if I told her I was in the gang, but like as she was coming to visit me in Rikers, I kind of like told her like, you know, I was a part of this group. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. And speaking of Rikers, how was you feeling when you found out you was going to Rikers? Was you really nervous?
I mean, like, yeah, definitely. I'm not gonna lie. You know, dudes be capping like, oh, I ain't never scared. You know, they be on their bone crusher shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I feel like I feel like yeah, like I definitely was nervous.
Right.
I wasn't scared. It was just something new, you know, like, and I think like anytime humans embark on a new journey, like you're gonna feel, even when you get a new job, right? You feel like you don't know how your boss is gonna be. You don't know
Right.
how to, you don't, it's a new thing. So you kind of like might be a little apprehensive. You kind of might, so anyway, it was that. It also was the stories I heard of Rikers, right? It also was like, damn, I don't heard, mind you, I'm Crip. I don't heard how Crips don't live, how, like Crips don't live in jail. Like it gets crucial for us. At least, this is my thoughts back then, right? And I was just like, damn, like I wasn't even really so much thinking about like the violent stuff. It was just so much that I was Crip and I'm gang banging and it's about to be crazy for me. Everybody blood. Like I'm just looking at it like everybody blood, So I think like, yeah, I was definitely nervous. And I was young, like I was just like, damn, I'm 18 years old, like, so definitely I was definitely nervous, but at the same time I was just like, it's whatever, like, it's a lot of bloods in the street. So this is like the pep talk that I'm having with myself. Like I'm like, ain't really no different. It's a lot of bloods in the street too, So
Right.
so it was kind of like I figured that it was gonna be kind of like the same thing.
Okay. And how was it, man? How was it? And I know the viewers want to know. How is it being Crip at Rikers Island, man? Can y'all live? Like, can you explain to them how is it being Crip?
Well, like my first encounter was I remember I got there at night. I got there, it was so late. So I didn't really get to see a lot of people. I didn't really get to you get there and then the first thing you do, you go through the process of intake. So you just be in the infirmary for a long time. They drawing blood, they taking your urine, they checking everything. So you be in there for like 10 hours. You be in there for like 10 to 12 hours, just sitting there. And then, as you sitting there, you got some people coming in and out. They ask you, like, yo, it's your first time. Like, what's up? What you down for? At this moment, nobody really asked me if I was banging. And then like, but that's people's, especially black people, that's their number one favorite question when you in jail. Like, what you in for? And if you banging. You know what I'm saying? Then they might ask you what block you from and whatever. Like, so anyway, when I get there, I'm in the infirmary. And then when I finally go to my house, my one is like, it's intake. So it's like, people might ask you if you banging, but like at this time I was kind of like, damn, like somebody told on me. And the people that were there at the shooting were Crip. So I just felt like they saying somebody told on me. So I'm like, somebody that was Crip told on me. Right? I didn't know it was the victim, but I'm just like, damn, somebody told on me. And I'm just like, I'm sitting here, I got beef with my set. And then I'm kind of like contemplating whether I should claim this shit, right? So it don't got nothing to do with jail. Like, again, nobody pressed me, nobody confronted me, but I'm just like, damn, Crip dudes told on me, right? And the funny thing is, while I had them years running the street, I never thought that somebody Crip would snitch on me, right? Like, it didn't even pass my mind that snitching would be the reason why I would end up in prison. Like, I knew I would go to jail. Like, I would be like, eventually the police gonna catch me with a gun or they're gonna worse, right? But I never sat there and thought, even though snitching is part of the game, right? A lot of people think snitching is not part of the game. That's part of the shit, right? I think like, even though that's part of the game, I never thought that somebody was telling me. So when I finally got to the house, at the intake house, it was another Crip dude that I met in the town. So I was telling him like how I felt. I was like, bro, to be honest, I don't know if I should claim my set, bro. Like, I was just like, a lot of shit happened. Like, this was going on. I got beef with them. Like, I don't know if, I don't feel right screaming their name and they're trying to kill me. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, they trying to get at me. So he was just like, he told me like, yo, bro, at the end of the day, bro, he said, if it's in your heart, it's in your heart, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm sorry for your situation. Like, sometimes people change their hood because of that, right? They'll go on to another Crip set. And he was just like, but if it's in your heart, it's in your heart, bro. And that's that, right? So I was like, all right, cool. So when he told me that, I was like, yeah, I'm Crip. I'm saying like, I'm still on my shit. Because it was just beef. It was just like, it was just a little friction. But I was like, all right, whatever, I'm Crip. So when I get to my house, I'm Crip. I'm jacking my shit. They talking to me. They spitting they shit. It was a few Crips in the house. But then I met this dude from my town, and he was just like, yo, he was trying to tell me like, bro, drop that shit, leave that shit alone. Crips don't live in jail. He was saying, yo, you're going to have a hard time. Mind you, this is a dude who we chased in the town. Like we chased him and his people. Like he was on some I don't know if he was blood, but he was like, like on the riding the blood wave, right? So
Right.
he was somebody that was trying to so-called give me advice, but I just felt like it wasn't genuine. I just felt like he would have been one of the first people to say, yo, look, he dropped this flag when he was in here. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got those type of people. So I just felt like it wasn't genuine. And I felt like, he trying to say like, we're not cool, bro. Like in the town, like I just chase you and your mans in them, right? I don't think he was blood anymore or whatever. But anyway, I just felt like I never really had it bad. Like the way other people had it, like I was there, I was Crip, there was bloods in the house. They never really, they was plotting to jump me, but then I was cool with another blood that was trying to hold me down. So I just felt like God protected me in my transition. Like, so, and people, that's why a lot of people say like, oh, there's no way you was that. But don't get me wrong, there was other Crips that were good. Certain Crips, it just depends. Certain Crips had it real bad, and then certain Crips didn't have it that bad. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Like, so it was like, but don't get me wrong, overall, I think Crips do go through it, right? But I think like there's also circumstances where certain Crips pull up, they might be getting drug money. You know what I'm saying? So dudes let them live because they getting money, right? So they in business with Bloods or whoever the head Bloods are or whoever, So it's like the transition into jail is different for different Crips. But overall, I would say that like most of the time, like Crips do gotta like bang out for this.
Okay. Got you. So you said you had a smooth transition better than others. So when you was there as a Crip, you had no problems there? You didn't have to fight no Bloods?
So I would have situations like this, right? I would have situations where like, I remember it was this one dude. So I wasn't Crip that long in jail. So I was cripping probably for like a few months. And then like my friends came to see me, or, some of the other homeboys came to see me on a double visit. And they told me like that the person that ran the set, that he was like, yo, he said all the little dudes not Crip no more. Cause they looked at it like, oh, it's the little dudes versus the older dudes. So
Right.
whoever was running the set, he believed whatever story the older dude told them. They lied to him. They said I shot him over like a dirt bike or some other shit. Like they didn't tell him I shot him because there was just the snitch thing going on, right?
Right.
They told him I shot him over some dirt bike. Like so they lied to the higher up. The higher up was like, what? Them niggas not Crip no more. In his words, that's what he said. He was like, oh, none of them little dudes is Crip no more. So when they came to see me, they was like, yo, they said we're not Crip no more. So I'm like, at this point, it was different, right? Because it's coming from the higher up. The higher up is like, and a lot of people was like, oh, you should have, nobody can tell you're not Crip. I'm like, that don't make no sense. Like, I'm Crip because somebody approved me, right? To be part of this. So once that person says you're not Crip no more, like, how is it that I need this person permission to be Crip? But then it's like the moment he says I'm not Crip, people is telling me, well, you're still supposed to be Crip.
Right.
It don't make sense, right? So this is what happened with my situation. People was like, I'm not Crip no more. They told my mans that, and I asked my mans like, and what did y'all do? Like, what was y'all response? Did y'all like feel some? And nobody really did nothing. And then I just felt like I just felt like, because it was me and my friend, the one that got told on first, because I got locked up 10 days after him.
Okay.
So we both was on the visit floor, and then when we left the visit floor, I was like, it's over, bro. And he told me like, yo, I can't see myself not being Crip. He was just like, and I have a story about this too on my YouTube. So he was like, yo, I can't see myself not being Crip. And I was like, yo, bro, it's over, bro. Like I'm not fighting to be a part of something or a group of people that don't want to fuck with me. So he told me, then he suggested that maybe we should start our own set. And I was like, no, bro. Like, we're going to have to bang out. They're going to call us fake. We're going to have to put in mad work. We're going to have beef with Bloods and Crips. I said, bro, that shit is dumb, bro. Like, I was like, it's over. Just let it go, bro. So he was just like, damn. So, that was the conversation. That was that. And then after that, so I was in Crip for a long time. But, like, in a little bit that I was Crip, like, I would have Bloods. They'll be like, yo, you Crip? And, I was always on the aggressive mode, right? Like, I was always like, yeah, I'm like, I can Crip. Like, what up? What's cracking? Like, because it's like, my understanding was like, why you asking me if I'm Crip? And my understanding is like that Crips get it bad, right? They always get violated. They always get beat up. They always go through shit. So it's like, I just felt like when they was asking me, they was either going to be the ones that was going to try to swing off on me, or either they was going to be the ones who was going to line me up for somebody, or either they was asking me for somebody else, somebody sent them, So like, I was always like, when people asked me if I was Crip, I'd just be mad aggressive. And a lot of times, dudes just, you know, dudes are all right. They was like, nah, I got mad family that's Crip. I got, you know, like, it was just mad funny shit going on. But nothing really transpired. And again, like, it's not because Crips don't go through it. I just think my transition was different.
Got you. Okay, and I can dig that. So I'm gonna go through each of the different organizations. I just want you to speak on them. Let me back it up real quick. Did you have an issue using the phones with all that stuff you just said going on? How was your issue using the phones?
I mean, like, I always got on the phone. You know, when you go to adults, the phones become more of a problem. And adolescents, the phone's not really that much of a problem. And then by the time I got to adults, I wasn't Crip anymore, right? So in adolescence, the phones is like, they not really a problem because adolescence is like, a lot of people not really getting on the phone like that. You know, like people do get on the phone, but people don't really get on the phone. It's just weird, right? But with everything is different, right? The level of violence, once you get to adults, is different than the level of violence in adolescence. Adolescents, yes, they do fight a lot. You know what I'm saying? They, you know, they hyperactive. They always doing shit. But the adults, it's like their fucking fights be just crazy. You know, it's grown man strength. It's different. They usually cutting people. It be more cuttings in adults, stabbings. It just the level of violence is just totally different. So with that being said, the level of violence being different in adults, the violence transfers to the phone situation, right? So like on adolescents, somebody might do is hit you with the phone. You know what I'm saying? Like and adults, you might get cut, you might get stabbed for the phone. You know, it get crucial. You know, so the phones, I never really had an issue in my house. They did try to implement a new rule. I made a video about that too. With the phones, they try to implement, like, I was already in the house, so then they try to make up new rules, like certain, like, but I've been getting on the phone. Like, my whole thing is like, nobody ever hung up my phone call. I always got, my girlfriend used to get out of class at 9 o'clock. I always got on the phone at 9. She could vouch for that. I always called her. You know, I always went to commissary. Nobody took none from me. So it's like, I didn't care about like the prison politics or where I sit or whatever. Like, I never sat on the floor. You know, nobody really like did nothing crazy to me, right? Like, I was just on some, like, I'm trying to avoid problems because I'm trying to, like, because I thought it meant something to the judge. But at the same time, it's like nobody gonna bother. I'm not trying to avoid problems to the point where somebody's slapping me around. They taking my phone call. They taking my commissary, you know? So the phones in adolescent, I was getting on the phone. Now when you get to adults, the phones become a little tricky because it's like gangs control phones, right? So it's like in adolescent, like I mentioned this before, the gang divide is not that crazy. It's like if you're official, you bang, you know. But when you get to adults, you really gotta stick with your crew. Like if you blood, you gotta stick with your blood. You Crip, stick with your Crip. If you Patria, stick with your Patria. You King, stick with your King. You know, it's really enforced when you get to adults.
Okay.
So when it's enforced, Patria might have a phone, Bloods might have a phone. Then they always leave room for like a neutral phone. And sometimes you gotta understand. Sometimes you go into a house where it's like there might be 10 Bloods in the house, and then for some reason they feel like they need to have 3 phones, and then there might be 4 phones in the house. Now they're saying the other phone is for the neutral people. But if it's like 40 neutral people, like, and this is how the oppression goes, right? It's just crazy because it's like it's 10 of y'all and y'all got 3 phones, and then like the rest of the house got to use this one phone, which is just crazy, right? And then they'll have things like slot time, right? Slot time is like, yo, you can't use the phone after 8. And sometimes they wouldn't even be on the phone. Sometimes it would just be like they'll put the phone in the T just to see who was gonna go try to use the phone. So it was a lot of shit like that, right? It was a lot of power shit going on. And again, it's not all the Bloods, but a lot of times that shit was going down. Like people just be like, nobody get on that phone after 8. And then it's like if you go get on that phone, somebody gonna try to cut you, somebody gonna try to hurt you, somebody gonna try to do something to you, which was stupid, man. Because a lot of times people wasn't even on the phone. A lot of times some of these dudes didn't even have money on their books, and you know it was just crazy. Like sometimes dudes be like, you want to get on the phone? Give me a phone call. I let you get on the phone. Like you know, it was just a lot of crazy shit going on. So it was a little more dangerous. I avoided certain situations. I still got on the phone though, like you know. And then at one point they almost got a little crazy with the Patrias, you know, because. You know, I don't know. They never stepped to me. But like I would hear them like, you know, like mumbling shit. You feel me? Like, oh, niggas getting loose. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, it's just saying certain shit. They never said to me like, yo, don't touch that phone. or nothing crazy. But I would overhear certain things. I would play stupid. But in the moment I gotta move. I gotta do what I gotta do. You feel me? But like, I play dumb certain times because it's like I know what's going on. You just gotta be vigilant. And like I said, like I wasn't on some crazy aggressive shit, but like if it came my way, like it came my way.
Okay. And when you was there, man, didn't they have the gang like the YGs or something was there? Can you speak on them?
Yeah, that was mainly like an adolescent thing. And that's another thing, right? So sometimes in adolescent, you will have like a dude might be blood and he might be YG too. Or he might be blood and he might be YB, because they had YBs too. So when you got to adults, they wasn't playing none of that shit. Like you're not jacking both. Like, and if they'll let you, don't get me wrong, they'll be like, all right, what you gonna do? You know what I'm saying? Like, which was kind of like a trick question, like what you gonna do? And then anyhow you said like, I'm gonna choose the other side, like you probably was gonna get cut by the Bloods. You know what I'm saying? So they'll tell you like, yo, you can't double jack, you only blood now, or you only Crip now. Because it was Crips that was YB too. So it was a lot of funny stuff going on like that in adolescence. But again, like I said, adolescents as kids, they chilling, they playing those little games. When you go to adults, they're not playing with you. They're gonna tell you, yo, you blood or you Crip. And then so a lot of times when those gangs got to adults, the only one that really survived was YG. On YBs, they just got a whole different type of treatment. Like, and I don't know why, but maybe the Bloods was more cool with the YGs. I don't know, but that's just how it went. In adolescence, yeah, the YG thing was a big thing. By the time you got to adults, it was like you not seeing no YBs in adults.
I'm saying, were they getting busy? Or were they?
I mean, in adolescence, don't get me wrong. In adolescence, they was getting busy. Like, you know what I'm saying? It was YBs and YGs was shaking the building. Like, you know what I'm saying? They was breaking jaws. Like the YG, I wouldn't say. I mean, from my time there, the YBs was getting beat up. Well, I seen some that got beat up or got broken jaws, or some that went through a turbulent time. But I also seen YBs who were big, who were looking like grown men in there. You know what I'm saying? Like, and there was adolescents, and they was putting in work too. So, and YB spread like wildfire. That's the thing. When that YB shit came out, that shit spread like wildfire. Like that shit was like, yo, everybody wanted to be a young boss. So like it spread like wildfire, and it was just like back and forth shit. You in adolescent, you might go to a house that was YB, like everybody was YB in the house, and then you might go to a house that was mostly YG. So it was just like a whole bunch of that going on. It was like an adolescent game. I feel like once you got to a certain age, a lot of people wasn't saying they YB or YG. There's still people that older and say they YG, but like I feel like mainly it was like a little adolescent thing.
Okay. Like I said, I wanted to go through the different organizations. I'm gonna ask you about them. How was the Trinitarios moving when you was at Rikers? Did they have a lot of numbers there?
So the Trinitarios is like, it's funny because when I was in the street, there used to be a lot of DDPs, and that was kind of like the rivals to the Trinitarios, right? So they used to have the DDPs, the Dominicans don't play. And then like when I went to jail, I never encountered any DDPs, which was weird, right? It was just like, I'm like, yo, where the DDPs at? Because everybody was Trinitario. And from what I heard, like later on now, recently, somebody was telling me how most of the people that were DDP turned Patria. You know what I'm saying? They turned Trinitario. I mean, most of the people that were, there was DDP turned Trinitario. I don't know how true it is. I heard like the OGs got killed and then everybody else just turned Trinitario or whatever. So I don't know how true it is, but yeah, like I never encountered DDPs in jail. So now it was like the Patrias really only had problems with like the black people, like the Bloods or the Crips. You know what I'm saying? Like because they didn't have their rival, right? They didn't have like the Dominican counterpart rival. So the Trinitarios was kind of like cool. They was chill. Some of them was more cool than others. Some other ones of them. That sounds completely wrong. But some of them was cool. Some of them was just like not so cool, right? Like they was on that on that anti-black shit. You know what I'm saying? Like not all of them, but I met a lot of them that was cool. They was cool peoples. And so yeah, the Trinitarios, the way the Trinitarios move around is like you either gonna be in a Blood or a Crip house. So what happens is when they will start getting numbers, and then when you start getting numbers, they will want more control. They will want, like for example, if they might give them one phone, right? The Bloods might be like, all right, cool, y'all can have one phone. All y'all people get on one phone. But then it's like as more Dominicans come, they might be like, yo, we want another phone.
Okay.
And then the Bloods see that as a power struggle. Because if that's in their house, they're going to be like, nah, you're not getting another phone. Mind you, I just told you in some houses, they'll have like 40 dudes getting on one phone. Y'all got to figure that shit out. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's only some houses. That's not every house. There was houses where Bloods only had 2 phones. There was houses where Bloods only had 1 phone. But in some houses, most houses, they had 2 phones or more. So if it's a house of 50 and a lot of the people in the house is not Blood, then that's going to create friction and problems. So sometimes when more Trinitarios come, they might be like, yo, we want another phone, right? And then it's like, it creates a power struggle because sometimes the Bloods might be like, nah, you're not getting another phone. Or sometimes they might feel like if they getting too deep, they might feel like we got to start packing some of these dudes up. And packing them up, it's like, we're going to get you up out of here. So long story short, there always used to be some type of friction that used to come when whatever group is getting more numbers. At the end of the day, it's a designated Blood house. It's not a designated Trinitario house. And a Blood house just means Crips not going to live here. You know what I'm saying? Like, Crips have their own housing. So what that used to mean is like sometimes it created a power struggle between the Trinitarios and the Bloods. It also happened with the Crips. It happened whatever house they was in, and they get their numbers up, it will create a power struggle. So if they was in the Blood house and they start getting their numbers up, they want more things. They want more, and and it makes sense, right? You want all your people to get on the phone.
That's right.
So that will create a power struggle. Usually a big fight will break out, and then next thing you know, it's like it's on site, right? Sometimes there always used to be peace treaties. They used to sit down with the big homies of each side and they'll squash it for a little bit. But when the building I was in, what started happening was when the Trinitarios used to get into it with the Bloods, they would start moving them. They'll be like, all right, we're not sending Trinitarios to live with Bloods no more. So they started sending them to live with Crips. So now like the Crip housing got full of Trinitarios. And then the same thing started to happen. The numbers get up, power struggle. And it's not as much Crips as there is Bloods. So maybe they felt like we could really take them. And we probably really couldn't take the Bloods, but we probably could really take them. Not saying that they was thinking like that, but I'm just saying like one faction is like, is way more numbers than the other faction, right? So it was the same thing. Power struggle, they get to the Crip house, their numbers get up, power struggle, riots. I got stories of riots. I ain't get to those stories yet. But there's definitely riots between Trinitarios and Crips. And riots between like Trinitarios and Bloods. I never was around because at this time they had moved me from the Blood house to the Crip house because they had the AC and I was heat sensitive. But I definitely was around for like Patria and Crip Rights. You know what I'm saying? Like, which is crazy.
Can you speak on that a little bit? Can you speak on one of them or?
I'm gonna save it for I'm gonna save it for my story time. But I would say this: a lot of the Patria dudes was older dudes. Like, it wasn't really younger dudes. It was older dudes. And a lot of times, older dudes don't play with dudes. They don't play. They a lot of times, older dudes tend to have more sense. They're a little more respectful. And yeah, I remember one time I was sleeping, man, and I'm going to say this for my story time, but it was crazy, man. Like, and in jail, you don't really sleep like that. You don't really sleep in jail. So it's like, they open my cell. Like, mind you, I heard them arguing way before they opened my cell. Like, I'm sleeping, but I could hear everything. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't never, I don't know about anybody else, but I never went to deep sleep in jail. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm sleeping, and then I just hear people arguing. And then next thing I know, I hear like the tables moving. Like you could tell when there's a fight happening. Like the ground shake. They call it shaking the ground, right?
That's
so
right.
Like, I just feel like the ground shaking. I hear tables moving, and I remember they happened to open my cell at the same time. So I just jumped up, took off my do-rag, put my shoes on, and came out. My other man's Haitian Crip dude, he came out his cell barefoot. Like, he was awesome. He jumped out the cell. But I'm gonna save the rest of the story. But just know, like, them Spanish people, them Dominican dudes, they play with them knobs. You know what I'm saying? So like a lot of times, black dudes, a lot of times I felt like Patria and Blood or Crip wars was a disguise for really like some racial shit. I think a lot of times people looked at it like it was just some isolated gang shit. And I just felt like it was like some Spanish on black shit, because at the end of the day, that's really what it is, right? It's like you go into both houses and you end up getting in problems, right? Like with the same people, right? Like only Bloods and Crips are black people. So I felt like sometimes it was disguised as a gang thing, but it was really like some racial shit. And then like when people feel like it's some racial shit, other people get involved. That's not necessarily part of a gang.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. All right. Now, What was the difference? What was the biggest? Now we moving to upstate a little bit, about to close here in a little bit. What was the difference between Rikers Island and upstate? What was the biggest difference to you?
The biggest difference is the spacing. You got more room to operate. You got more room to do stuff. You don't get searched like that as frequently. You get access to, you literally could get packages sent up. You could get canned food, right? So in Rikers Island, they're very strict about what you have. Like they don't want you to have material that you can make weapons out of. And then here you go, you get upstate and you could get a can top. And a can top is sharp as hell. So people out here making weapons from can tops, they're making weapons from whatever industry they work in. So it's like, it's funny how you get access to all these things, right? I mean, they have metal detectors in certain places, like you can't go to the yard without clearing the mag. Matter of fact, the mag used to be randomly. They might just be like, hey, today they might put you through the mag, tomorrow they might not. So, they're playing Jeopardy, right? With whoever go to the mag, right? So they used to do shit like that. So it was just like, and then sometimes to eat, it was so much space that it's like, let's say you go into the kitchen to eat. Sometimes the walk will be like a 20-block walk.
Damn.
To just go get food. So now somebody trying to do something to you, they don't got enough guards. So there's a checkpoint like in between every block. Just think about walking in a city block and there's a cop at each corner, right? In between the blocks and everybody is walking. Everybody's walking. So in between blocks, somebody could get cut. And the police won't know. Don't know what happened, So it's like, I think that's the difference. It's just a lot of group, a lot of space, a lot of movement, and I think like less searches.
Okay. And
another thing is, it's easier for the guards to kill you up there.
You seen a lot of guards hitting the inmates up there?
Yeah, so I would say like a lot of the guards on Rikers Island kind of come from the 5 boroughs. They come from the hood like us. They're Black, Latino. And I think like a lot of upstate, all of them is like white. Like, they some rednecks, tobacco chewing, big belly. And they all got like steel-toe boots to kick your teeth out. Like, they don't play that. So it was definitely a different racial environment.
Got you. And when did you become Muslim? When you went upstate?
Nah, I became Muslim on Rikers Island.
Okay.
I became Muslim on Rikers Island, and it was like the way I became Muslim was like because when I went to Rikers, I was reading the Bible and stuff. I was reading the Bible a lot. So from reading the Bible, a Muslim brother, see me, and he was like, "Yo, bro," he said, "Yo, let me tell you something." He said, "What you think about Jesus, right?" So I was like, I don't really know so much, right? I mean, I always was a fake Christian, right? I say fake because my family grew up in it, but I never really fully participated, right? Or knew whatever the prayer and stuff like that. So I was just Christian by name. So anyway, he asked me who I thought Jesus was, and I said, it says he's the son of God or whatever. So he was just like, he gave me a book to read, Muhammad, the messenger of Allah. So I read it, but I was seeking God already, right? So I learned the prayer, the Our Father in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Like, I was praying, I was reading my Bible every day. This is something I was doing as I was a gang member, right? Like, so I was just, I knew like I wanted to get close to God, and God was the only one that could help me. So as I did that, in my quest to get closer to God, this brother came, he gave me a book about Muhammad, the messenger of Allah, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And after I read that, it has some references from the Bible. So after reading that, it just made me inquire more about the religion of Islam, right? So that led to me going to the mosque to get more information, to actually get in the Quran. And then that's how I converted. Word.
And how many years did you, I got 2 more questions. How many years did you do upstate?
So by the time I got upstate, I already had half of my time in because I fought my case for 33 months on Rikers Island. Wow. Okay. So the average case on Rikers Island takes 2 years to go to trial. And I fought mine for 33 months. So by the time I went upstate in my 7-year sentence, I already had like about half my time in, So when I got up there, I already had all that time served. And I feel like, God made my transition. And this is what I mean by God made my transition smooth, because it's like, God allowed me to have half my time on Rikers Island, right? I was still getting visits, I'm still close to the city. when I go to court, I still get to see the city, you know, I still get to, people could still come see me. And I didn't have to do all that time upstate, like, you know, being so far from my family for so long, right?
Right.
So it was about half. So by the time I did like serve like 3 years upstate, 3, almost 4. And then, so that's what I did. And then I was on my way home.
Okay. And when you was upstate, what kind of inmate? Was you a model inmate? What kind of inmate were you?
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. You know, a lot of dudes be lying. They be saying they ran to jail. You know, like I said, man, I always avoided. I'm not gonna lie. On Rikers Island, I had some little turbulent times, man. You know, I used to get in. I was getting into fights. I was going to the box. You know, the most I did in the box was like 90 days. You know, so I was, you know, I was getting into fights. I was getting into shit. And then the last time after I did 90 days, like I just changed my whole life. That like them 90 days changed my whole life. I started to hear things that my mom would tell me when I was home, when I didn't listen. I started to just hear a lot of things, the wisdom that a lot of older people gave me. Like that, those 90 days really did a lot for me. You know, like I was just like on some deep meditating shit. And so after that, I was good. I came out, I was chilling. I got more into my religion. You know, I was a little more calm. I went upstate, and then I just continued. I learned more. I was more, but you know, I worked out. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I was always ready for a situation. And I think that like I even avoided a lot of shit because I just know like I could go from 0 to 60. And at the end of the day, like dudes will be acting all tough and they be saying all that shit, but dudes be telling, man. Dudes be sitting here. I seen it myself. I seen dudes get stabbed and tell. Like I seen dudes just do a whole bunch of funny shit. So like I just feel like I just knew like in prison, I just knew like it's a different ballgame. So I told myself, if I'm not gonna cut you or if I'm not gonna stab you, like I'm not even getting into I'm not arguing with you. I'm not getting into a fight with you because that's just what it leads to. You beat somebody up, they want revenge because dudes can't take an ass whooping. And it's not that I couldn't beat nobody. It's just I already know what type of time they on. Like you beat them up, especially it's a lot of gang shit going on. So, you know, a lot of times you might not get a one-on-one. And if you do happen to beat somebody up, you know retaliation is coming. So you might as well just send somebody up out the jail. You might as well cut him. You might as well cut him off rip. Yeah, all right. Yeah, so I don't know. You might as well cut him off rip. You might as well stab him. You might as well just do some. Hold on, brother. I'm trying to like. I don't know where it's at. My bad. I'm sorry. So
It's all good.
you might as well cut him. You might as well just you might as well just violate them off the rip. You feel me? Like, cause it's gonna lead to that. So I told myself I was there with some good brothers. So you know I had a shank. Dude told me how to make a shank. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I was good. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm like, and this is the thing. In the street, I always had guns, right? Well, not always. At some point, when I started gang banging and whatever, I had a gun. I had a few guns, but I never was stupid. I never was somebody that like somebody beat me up, I'm gonna go shoot him. I never was somebody that was like happy, excited he had a gun. Like I was always smart, bro. So like in jail was the same way. Like I had a shank because it used to be this brother that used to tell me like, it's better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it.
Right,
you know what I'm saying?
right.
And that's something that always stayed with me, right? Like it was just like, yo, you can have a shank and still be responsible. A lot of dudes get a shank and they feel like it makes them a, you know what I'm saying? They feel like they're God. They feel like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so I was responsible. I was the model inmate, like you would say. Like I didn't get no infractions. Also, the police, if the police don't like you up there, you're gonna have problems. You know what I'm saying? Like they're gonna try to set you up, get you new charges, try to like. It used to be guards that used to be slapping dudes. I remember the guards trying me one time. Like I was this close. Like I was fuming. Yo, I literally started sweating because the motherfuckers got me mad tight, and I was just like, yo, like I was just like, and they all did some funny shit. So I'm gonna give you a story real quick. I used to clean the tables in the mess hall. So the sergeant came one day, he told me like, yo, clean all the tables. Plus he had a problem with Muslims. You know what I'm saying? Like, so he was like, yo, clean all the tables. I was like, yo, I cleaned the tables already. He was like, well, clean them again. So I was like, so what I did was I walked around and cleaned the ones that had crumbs in it, and I left. I didn't clean all the tables. I just cleaned whatever I might have missed. That's what I cleaned. So he felt some type of way about that, right? He tells the CO after that, he said, yo, you see that dude right there? He said, I want you to give him a lot of details, then fire him. But before all of that, at the end, when everybody started leaving, he sends one of his guards. He goes grab my bucket where I was dipping my rag. And he poured it on like 6 different tables. And he goes, get to work. So when he said that, so look, I'm looking at this dude, right? You know, he chewing his tobacco and shit. And I'm just looking at this dude, right? And as I'm looking at him, I looked at the other guards, right? It was like 7 of them just standing right there, waiting for my, and it was all just watching me, like waiting for my reaction, right? So I'm just like this, right? And I'm boiling, bro. And then you know what I did? I just started smiling at them, right? I just started smiling at them. That shit fucked their whole shit up. But I was heated, bro. And then after that, I started smiling at them. I went over there, grabbed my rag, and I just gave them my back because I didn't really want them to see my face. You feel me? Like, and I was just started, you know what I'm saying? I just started cleaning or whatever. And then, but that's just an example of the shit that they do. Like there was another thing that my boy told me they used to do in Clinton. He used to say that there was a woman, they'll put you against the wall, and you know, when you got your hands on the wall, they tell you don't move from the wall. You know, if you move from the wall, that's their excuse to beat you up. So they'll tell you put your hands on the wall, and then they'll be searching you. And then they said there used to be a woman. My man said it used to be a woman that used to pinch dudes' nuts. Now you know that shit feel crazy. Right. She used to pinch dudes' nuts just to get you off the wall so they could beat you up.
Damn.
Word. So them dudes be playing crazy games up there. So like that's another difference too. Like the police out blatantly go out their way to try to fuck you up, man.
Yes, sir. And okay, last question. How was the Crips living upstate? I know you wasn't Crip no more, but how was they living upstate at the facility?
I mean, the Crips, man, it was just they just had to fight a lot. One of the things that I don't like how people try to make it seem like Crips just like, or they say, oh, Crips just live in the box, right? Like it's like it's one thing to sign into the box, and I'm not Crip, and I'm not saying this for some bias shit, but I just feel like it's like, come on, bro, like what you think is going to happen? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like they know you're not gonna let them live, right? So what they usually do is they go pop on somebody. Like, I don't know what these people want them to do, right? Like, it's like, you want them to, like, just get cut, and they're going to go to the box anyway. You know what I'm saying? They're going to get jumped, or they're going to get cut, so they're going to go to the box regardless. So I think that a lot of them know that, and a lot of them just be like, you know what I'm saying? They just go ham. Like, they might, you know, they're going to cut somebody. They're going to go beat somebody up on the walkway. They're going to go do whatever they're going to do. And, of course, they're going to go to the box, right? So I think that, like, and a lot of times, Crips come out and they do that, right? Like they'll come out the box, it's the same routine because they know they're gonna try to cut them. So only certain Crips feel like, I mean, a lot of Crips, they get to a jail and they wait and they might, and this is the ones that usually get cut, right? They get to a spot and they might be like, maybe I'm tired of box time. Maybe I want a meal outside, right? So they try to live in the jail and usually somebody sneaks them or somebody heads up with them and cut them, right? They usually get cut. So, and a lot of other Crips, they be like, fuck that, I'm not getting cut. You know what I'm saying? So as soon as they get out the box, they punching somebody in the head, they punching somebody in the face, or they cutting somebody. So this is just the lifestyle, man, for like the average Crip. There's some jails where, you know, everybody's chilling. They might have a little treaty and they're not really doing certain things, but like everything is subject to change because at one moment you might be cool. Whoever runs the jail, whatever blood run the jail might be on some cool peace treaty stuff. And then next thing you know, another blood comes who might have a higher rank and he might be like, all that shit is out the window. One of my homeboys, he was up there like that. He was in the jail, he was chilling, and then some big homie blood pulled up, and he was like, y'all niggas is living with this nigga? And then that shit, you know what I'm saying? He went from chilling, living in coexistence with them to like, and he was like 6'4". So, you know, a lot of times it's like, you know, people be kind of skeptical about approaching certain Crips, you know what I'm saying? Also, Crips usually be strapped up, like, you know what I'm saying? They, a lot of times. So, you know, but that's just the lifestyle, man. It's just like, you're going to take a lot of box trips. You might get cut. I'm not saying that all of them don't get cut. You know, some of them. But if you're in the max, it might be a little worse. It might be a little harder. And the medium might be a little easier to, you know, to maneuver. But a lot of Crips just learn from other Crips, right? Like they be like, he got cut trying to live. I'm not even trying to be friends. I'm not even trying to look for let me live here because that could be okay for a moment until somebody else pull up and it's like, nah, get him out of here. So that's how it be, man. Like, so I used to see some Crips pull up and they used to ask me like, yo, any Crips here? And I'd be like, yo, I don't know. If there is, they ain't claiming. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know, bro. And I used to pray that none of my homies that were still Crip came through because I just felt like my homies is my homies. This is my day ones. You feel me? Like, I'm not gonna I watch my homie get hurt. And I just felt like that was gonna put me in a situation. So I always used to pray to God that none of these dudes pull up. You know, and I'm talking about the dudes that I remain close to, right? I just used to be like, yo, I hope none of them pull up because like I can't watch somebody from my childhood gang banging or not, right? Blood or Crip. Like I'm not watching my mans that I grew up with get violated, and I'm not gonna help. You feel me? So that was just what I used to do. You know what I'm saying? But I was a good dude, man, chilling.
Got you. And this is the last question for real. What did you learn? What trade did you learn upstate that you can use when you got home back to society? What trade did they teach you?
So the trade that I learned upstate was building maintenance. And building maintenance, what they do with building maintenance is like they teach you how to. It's a basic carpentry kind of like trade. So it's a basic carpentry kind of trade. And then
were you in Compton?
Nah, it's a basic carpentry kind of trade where you get to you learn how to put walls up, you learn how to do like roofing, you learn how to do basic plumbing, basic electrician, basic flooring. So that's kind of like something that I learned and something that I could use. Like if I have a problem, like I know how to put walls up, right? Like I know how to put the sheetrock up, right? I know how to do the taping, right? The dry taping. I know how to fix roof, right? I know how to do basic plumbing, basic electrician. If I have some problems, like I could take out the socket, you know what I'm saying? I could fix it up. I might have to retouch it because I ain't do it in a while, but this is things that I could do. This is not something that like is brand new to me. And so I haven't used this since I've been home, to be honest, but this is something that I plan on doing. I plan on leaving New York and like, working with my hands, you know what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
Aside from like, I feel like sometimes I don't want to do that because I feel like, a lot of us, we work in strenuous work, right? And then like, it has a toll on our bodies. So if I could do my main thing right now, I work in a juvenile facility. So I'll be going in to talk to the youngins. So that's not the hard work, right? Like I can sit here and be the assistant program director. That's what the job I'm about to apply for, assistant commissioner or something like that. So I will be in charge of like overseeing programs and coming up with programs for them. Like that's gonna work. And I've been there. I was young. I was their age. So they like me. I'll be talking to them. I'm 29, but they be thinking I'm their age. You feel me? Because I look young.
Right.
They be like, yo, what's good, bro? So I be kicking them with them. I be playing basketball with them, beating them in ball. You know what I'm saying? They be thinking I ain't got it. You know what I'm saying? So like, so it's cool. Like they feel like I'm not that older than them. And I'm like, yo, I gang bang too, homie. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're not that different than me. And I'm not an old head. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
So I get their anger towards the older people and why they don't respect OGs. And because a lot of these dudes in the back in the days, they was just using young brothers. You feel me? So I get where they coming from. And I explain that to them. I said, I get it. I was there. I was used. You know what I'm saying? I was one of those dudes. So I get it. But so I think I want to do more of that, like an interrupter, right? I want to be in the system and be able to interrupt. What's the agenda than working with my hands. But at the same time, it's always good to know them skills where you can fix your own home. You don't got to call nobody.
That's right. I appreciate this interview, man. It was fire. You got anything you want to say before we close this out?
The only thing I would say, man, is like, like, I know my stories might sound a little biased because somebody hit me up one time and said like, yo, you sound like you still got animosity towards Bloods. And I tell people all the time, like, nah, man, I don't got no animosity towards Bloods. I talk a certain way. I'm passionate, and I'm just saying how it is. But I'm cool with homies. Like, you feel me? Like I'm not closed-minded like I was before I went to jail. Like, you know what I'm saying? Since I've been home, most of the people that I was going out to clubs and shit with, there was blood. You know what I'm saying? Like, we was out there chilling, partying. So it's definitely no animosity in my heart towards Bloods or towards any Crips or towards anybody I had any run-ins with. I've seen people that done shot at me before. In the moment, I might have, just paused and reflected. But at the end of the day, whatever happened back then behind some gang shit, it happened back then behind some gang shit. Hopefully, we can move forward. We can move past because there's so much more life to live, man. Like than holding on to certain grudges. And I think like that's just my overall message. Sometimes, man, if you could get past certain shit, nobody died. You know what I'm saying? Even if somebody died, I know it's a little harder to work through that. But like, especially if nobody died, man, like, yo, let's try to reconcile and let's just try to do something better, man. Let's just be positive. Let's be there for our children, our mothers, because then like when you just continue the cycle of harm, it's just like, yo, when people are harmed, it's hard for them to forgive, man. It's hard for them to forgive, especially me. Like, I know I like revenge. I like vengeance, man, because I feel like if I didn't go on my way to do nothing to you and you took your time to do something to me, I love that shit. I love to give back. You feel me? But I'm trying not to think like that. I'm trying to move away from that. And I'm just trying to use my energy, to use positivity, and give it to the young boys, man. Like, at the end of the day, I feel like most of my life was lost to the system. You know what I'm saying? Even though I'm young and I can still do a lot, but I feel like we really got to give them other people a chance. Sometimes we were the sacrificial lambs so somebody else could get to greater places, man. Word.
Right. That's right. Hey, listen, it's easy win. Florida Prison Talk. Vic Slang Hope. We out of here.
All right.